There are definitely times in everyone's life where we feel a little unclear. Maybe we aren't sure what step to take next. Do we start that new business? Do we pursue that opportunity? Do we relocate? Do we follow through with that idea? And that's normal. But when lack of clarity begins to cloud your dreams and it begins to hold you back, well, now that's an issue, because now it's just preventing you from ever really going for it, from ever really playing full out and developing yourself, your life, into what it truly could be and what you truly dream about. And so today, I am going to give you some reasons as to why you may be stuck in this lack of clarity, but more importantly, I'm going to give you a process that will help you get out of it and shift into clear, constructive action. It's coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome to Shift or Get Off the Pot, the podcast that helps you get out of your head and into action so you can make your dreams your reality. Let's get to it. Today, I am talking about clarity, and specifically how to gain clarity on what you want. Not just on your goals, but your vision, your overall big picture life vision. What do you want your life to be like? I have worked with salespeople, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and most are clear on a goal. Often it's a monetary goal. I want to make $250,000 this year. Okay, great. That's relatively simple because then we just need to create a clear plan of action and get to it. But what's interesting is that many people may have a goal or two or three that they're moving towards. But when I ask them what they want, what do they really want their lives to look like? Most often I get vague answers. And why? Because you would think that if you can set a goal and achieve it, then certainly you can create your ideal life. But people struggle here. They struggle with clarity on the big picture. And if you have ever had a difficult time getting clear on what you want, it's usually because you've thought about it, but then you pull back, often unconsciously, into thoughts that stifle those desires. Thoughts that you're typically not even aware of, and they run like a script in the back of your mind, keeping you swirling in this lack of clarity. And you cannot create change when you cannot clearly admit to yourself what you truly want. The reality is that this lack of clarity is not because you don't know what you want. It's because, bottom line, you don't believe it's possible. So while it may be uncomfortable or frustrating to be in this fog, those feelings actually feel better than the mental energy it takes to convince yourself that you actually are clear and you do know what you want, because pursuing what you want will require you to make some changes. It's going to require you to get uncomfortable. Self-doubt that what you want is possible is absolutely the number one silent killer of your dreams. And this lack of belief, think about it, this lack of belief is not how we come into this world. As human beings, we begin our lives with a profound desire for achievement. Think about a child starting to walk, to try and take their first steps, to crawl first and then start to pull up. That child will try again and again and again. Pull up maybe once or twice and fall back down. Maybe take a step once or twice and then wobble a bit, fall back down, only to get up and try it again, with absolutely no concept of whether or not she's doing it right. Doesn't matter. It's simply a matter of practice. Practice, practice. But it's hard to remain consistent with anything if you're not motivated. And motivation comes more readily when you can find joy in the process and you can see some results for the effort that you're exerting. But how do you get there if your confidence is waning? Because you see, clarity and confidence are really two sides of the same coin. They're in a dance with each other because if you're not seeing the results, your confidence may be waning. And now you've got this catch-22. You know the results are going to boost your confidence, that what you want is actually attainable and you can achieve it. Yet if you had more confidence and belief in yourself and your abilities, then naturally you'd be going for it and you'd have the results. You see, when you're operating from your zone of genius, it's like you fire on all cylinders and things seem to come to you quickly and easily because in a sense they are. You're starting to build momentum. And momentum is linked to confidence. And a confident person starts to proceed intentionally. Intention creates attention, and it builds that momentum. The problem is that we've been so conditioned to believe that success happens outside ourselves, when the reality is that success happens from the inside out. We can't build momentum until we first have the belief that what we want to achieve is possible. And that's where the rub is, because instead we start to find these excuses that hold us back. Again, because it's holding us back into those old familiar patterns and that script that's designed to basically keep us safe and comfortable. And one of the most common excuses is that people say, I just don't know how. I don't really know how to do it. I can't really see how I can get there from here. So they're operating in this limited thinking of, I don't know how. And getting caught up in the how is simply a way for our minds to prevent us from going for it. And why would we ever want to do that to ourselves? Well, simply because society, life, school, peers, even our parents like to tell us that success requires hard work, sacrifice, struggle, hustle. That doesn't sound fun. No one signs up for that. So instead, we try and figure out the how first so that we can have kind of all of it together and go, okay, now it's safe. Now I know I can do this because I know it's going to work out. But that's like putting the cart before the horse. The how is not something you need to worry about, especially when you're just trying to get clear first on what it is that you want. You don't need to control every step, nor should you, because you'll probably muck it up. You don't have enough data. And you only get that through action, which brings us to clarity. Your job is to get clear on the what you want and why you want it. And when you release the need to know every step in advance, you actually create space for clarity to start to flow in. And you do that through vision. You must have a vision that's fueled by desire and backed by purpose. And each of these work in unison to build self-belief, which leads to intentional action, which again leads to clarity. So in order to stop blocking yourself, to stop this lack of clarity, you have to start by asking yourself a few questions. And the first one is going to seem so obvious. But it is amazing how many people will not take the time to do this, even when science tells us that the fastest way to create new habits and new neural pathways and create what it is that you want is to ask yourself these questions. And that is, first, what do I want, truly want? Not what do I think I can get? It's so easy to pull back into what do I think I can get because we've been so conditioned to have real attainable goals. But who's to say if a goal is attainable or not? That's up to you. It's up to you to make it attainable, which takes us to the second question to ask yourself. And your answer to this next question is going to be the thing that actually gives wings to your dreams. It's the things that is going to keep you motivated even when things get rough. It's the thing that's going to fuel your activity. And this question is simply, why do I want what I say I want? Why is this important? What is the thought behind the goal? This is the thing that's going to help solidify the belief that it's possible. And it's going to be the thing that's going to help you create a clear plan of action, because nothing happens without action. So you ask yourself, why do I want this? And then the second half of this question is, what will achieving this goal allow me to do, to feel, to have? It's never the thing that you want. It's what that thing means for you. So let's take an example. And to do this, we're going to work backwards. So let's start with, what's the ideal desire? Start with the desire first. Okay, so let's say, for an example, I want to be skiing more often. I want to have a place where I can go ski and I have my friends and family there, to have a place that I can just escape to easily without having to make all these arrangements or worry about where to stay or if things might be blacked out. No, I just want to know it's easy because I have my own place in the mountains to enjoy with my friends and my family in the winter and in the summer. So that's the desire, right? So now we want to take it into the emotions. What does that feel like? What does that look like? Am I right off the slopes, or am I closer to town? Can I walk into town, or just can I ski into my house? Am I near a lake at the base of a mountain? What do I want? And it's okay if you don't know what you want right now. We're just playing with it. We're playing with the possibilities. So by now, maybe I've arrived at the fact that I want to have a vacation home in a specific ski area. I can even name it. Let's say I name it Park City, Utah. And you don't have to have a specific name for it, but that doesn't really matter at this point. What's important is that you understand the why of the goal. Why does it mean something to me? What's so important about it? And what does it feel like? The goal of the home is never going to be just the thing, right? It's all the emotions around it. What does it feel like? It's what the home represents. And in this case, it represents a place to ski regularly, to be close to several ski areas, maybe in the winter, or a great place to go in the summer or fall activities. The reason this is important, of course, is because you want to get to the emotional part of a goal, because that's what makes it more believable. That's why we get into, what does it feel like? What's it look like? How am I interacting with people here? Am I able to just easily hop on a plane and get there? Am I driving there? Am I having a lot of friends there? Do I walk out my door and go skiing? Do I have to, get on a trolley to go somewhere? Can I just walk around the corner? You just want to get into all of these different things. And the more that you can do that, the more it becomes much more believable to you. This is so powerful because it helps you to open up your mind to the infinite field of possibilities, which is the space in which your goal can become even better than what you had envisioned. So let's go back to that original goal. A home in a ski area where maybe we've given it a name, maybe we've even been specific and we've named the area. But now that we've gotten into that and we've gotten into the emotional triggers, we start to really connect to those other senses. Because remember, the more senses you bring in, the more something becomes more real for you, more believable. So maybe you're thinking, oh gosh, I just like the convenience of it, the ease of it. I can see my family coming there. I can see us spending the whole day together skiing and then racing down the slopes or cutting through the trees and then making a big dinner and all sitting around telling stories about our day or playing games. You get the picture. What's happening is that your mind is starting to stretch into other options. It's thinking, wow, maybe instead of one place, it'd be great to have two places. Maybe I'd be better off with two condos rather than one home. That way, if some people just need their own space or they have really young kids, they can have their own place. Or maybe I could turn one into an Airbnb and have some income. Or maybe it's better to have one smaller place in one area and maybe a different one in another area so that I could maybe rent one out and vice versa, change them when I want. It doesn't really matter. What's happening though is that you have opened your mind to other possibilities. And that's when things start to appear. It's because of our reticular activating system, right? Which just takes something that you have thought about and focused on, and it brings it to the forefront of your mind. And now you start to see all sorts of options, which again, help to make the goal much more believable. And it allows the infinite wisdom of your mind to go to work for you. This is when things become powerful. They become synchronistic. Maybe your sister calls you out of the blue. Hey, I've been thinking about investing in some property. You want to take a look at some things together? Or maybe a friend tells you about a potential Airbnb property, and it happens to be just in an area that you think would be perfect. Or maybe you see this great property that's right within your budget. Or better yet, maybe you have a long lost relative that leaves you a property or some money. And lo and behold, you've got exactly what you want. All these possibilities start to show up that will support your goals. And it doesn't mean that you don't have to take the physical action. Yes, you're going to have to take some physical action, hiring a realtor, making some plans, setting aside some funds. But the action is now backed with intention. And it's not just wishful thinking. It's shifted. Your brain, everyone's brain, is wired to focus on what could go wrong. It's just a survival mechanism that we were born with. But you have to consciously shift your focus from what you don't want to what you do want. And the more that you do that, the faster you will see that your reality will begin to change. You are capable of incredible potential. Just by the very nature of being born, you have genius inside of you. You have genius inside of you that is just waiting to be tapped. If your belief in yourself is ever waning, if your belief in your own abilities or your belief to even trust yourself is ever lacking, just know I'm here. I'll be here cheering you on. I'm going to list this process down below in the show notes. Use it, apply it, and watch how quickly you can shift your reality. Thanks so much for joining me here today. If you want some help achieving your goals, you can grab the success bundle that is linked down below, or you can join the challenge that I have coming up. The challenge is designed to help you align with your goals, get out of your head, get into action so you can achieve what it is that you say you want. You have the ability. Let's just get going and get it done. I'll be back again soon with another episode of Shift or Get Off the Pot.